Salutations, dear clashers from across the world. This is your host, Shift from the Shadow, here as promised with the Town Hall 8 attack guide on Dragon Loon Zap Quake strategy. Now, firstly, I'm gonna be honest. I've seen people saying that dragon attacks do not require strategies. They do not require any careful planning or top-notch raiding abilities for their execution. One of my friends even went to the extent that he called dragon attacks lame and said that dragons are mindless. I tried to ask him as to why he feels that way. He said that all you need to do is to just jump into your barracks, train your army, get it into the board screen, press the attack button, get your attack going in, drop your 10 dragons, and rest of the attack is not in your control. So what if I say that dragons can be controlled and dragon attacks do require planning? Confused? Don't be. First of all, let's get you guys acquainted with the army composition and the spell setup. So you are going to require level 3 dragons, level 5 lightning spells, a level 2 dark spell factory just to produce your earthquake spells. You are gonna take loons or hog riders in your CC, we'll talk about that later. And a haste spell if you're taking loons, a poison spell if you're taking hog riders. So that is going to be pretty much it for the army and spell setup. I do recommend having level 5 lightning spells because then any level of quake doesn't matter, but if you have level 4 lightning spells, just have a tryout with max level of quake spells in your CCs. That is something I'll leave on you guys to check out. I'm not sure if level 4 lightning and level 4 quake spells can do it. Additionally, you do have a rage spell which might come in handy. Level 5 recommended, level 4 can be used as well. So anyway, so firstly, what are the bases you are looking for? What kind of bases to hit when using the Dragon strategy? Well, as a general rule, all I can say is that every base at Town Hall 8, I repeat, every single base at Town Hall 8 can be 3-starred using dragons or a variation of dragons. It's not about how many different possible combinations of army and spell setups can 3-star the base design. It's about what is the easiest way to get the 3 in the back. So better than talking about which bases can be 3-starred with dragons, let's talk about which bases are a big no-no and which bases you should not be hitting with dragon attacks. Now here we have a very popular base design, a very popular internet base. The so-called anti-dragon, anti-air, anti-go, anti-go wipe, all that good stuff, and trust me guys, this base has been 3-starred with all of these strategies. But today we are only going to be concerned with dragons, so this base is very difficult to deal with dragons, and I will just illustrate it why. So first of all, check out the air sweeper location. The air sweeper when it comes to air attacks is a really formidable defense, especially at Town Hall 8, that pushes back units to some extent and can be very nasty for your dragons, especially when your dragons are locked onto storages and stuff like that. Now looking at the range of the air sweeper, it's like, oh my goodness, no matter which air defense I zap, I'm never gonna get the other 2 air defenses close together, lying on the same side of the base which I'm approaching from. Now suppose that I zap quake this air defense right here. These 2 are the air defenses left on the base, and I'm gonna try to approach from a side that the remaining 2 air defenses, they are close together. This is going to be the side I'm gonna approach from. I'm gonna send my dragons in right about between 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock, create the dragon funnel, let them going and take those air defenses out. But I will have to deal with the air sweeper. I will have to approach from the front side of the air sweeper. And is that the thing you are looking for, especially when you are going with an air attack? The second thing I want you guys to look at is the storages, the storage locations. Those high hit point buffers near the air defenses, those high hit point brick walls that are going to hinder the approach of your incoming dragons. No matter which air defense you choose okay, my dragons are responsible for the air defense lying at 9 o'clock. There is a dark leisure storage and a gold storage there. I mean, every single air defense on this base has 2 storages, has a pair of storages, and while the dragons are working their way around these storages, Of course, there's no way how you can work your way around these storages. You will have to beat these storages because the air defense, they are like a tile inside the inner compartment. That means you need to get rid of all the structures lying in the outer compartments before your dragons finally make it to the air defense. From this discussion, all we can conclude is that when you are deciding whether or not to hit a base with a dragon attack, the first question you should ask yourself is, can I approach it from behind the air sweeper and have two air defenses close together? If the answer is yes, go for it. If the answer is that you can approach it from behind the air sweeper, but you will not be getting two air defenses close together, think again. Second question would be, how many storages are guarding those air defenses? Are they considerable in number? Do I have enough firepower to beat through those storages? Or can I work my way around those storages and avoid those storages before I reach the air defense? Once you go through all these questions and you find reasonable answers to them, go ahead and think about whether or not you should be hitting a base with dragons. But for now, let's talk about this base and how Elaine decides to approach this base. So let us first of all draw those bisector lines on those external structures so that you can accurately predict the drag pathing. We are done with the bisector lines. So what Elaine does is Sapquakes the air defense right adjacent to the clan castle, sends in a dragon at the Dark Elixir Collector to the right of the bisector line, works its way around the perimeter of the base, goes ahead to the barrack. Now at this point, what Elaine does is drops in another dragon to reinforce the first dragon to the, you can see whichever side of the bisector line it is. Now the first dragon, for it, the next closest structure is the cannon, while for the second dragon, the next closest structure would be the Elixir Collector. Once that is done, drops in a third dragon to reinforce the second dragon, while both of them beat on the Elixir Collector, and same thing on the other side. For the other side of the funnel, drops in a dragon on the builder hut. According to the bisector concept, it should again go to the dark barrack. Once it does that, burns through the dark barrack, takes the dark barrack down, and after that heads to the dark spell factory because that is the next closest structure. That is it for both sides of the dragon funneling. Once the dragon funnel is created, you are free to send in all of your remainder dragons to the core of the base, and they should head to the core of the base because you have all of those outer structures taken out. Notice the region of the base that has already been taken down by those dragons. Now all she does is sends in her remainder dragons inside the core of the base. No rocket science here, guys. Just send in your dragons more towards the side of the air defense, less towards the side of the, the opposite side, or the other side I should say. A rage spell goes in to supplement the dragons or to support them while they are engaging the first air defense and the CC troops. The loons are going to go ahead and drop a bomb on that archer tower, then they would head to the mortar, and once that mortar is down, I guess they should go to the final air defense. All that you need to take care about for the loon funneling is that the loons are a defense targeting troop, so they are bound to head to the next closest defensive structure that is available onto the battlefield. So if you display carelessness while deploying your loons and you deploy them close to like 9 o'clock, they would head to the wizard tower and then to the cannon, to the archer tower, mortar. They would just end up wrapping around the perimeter of the base, and I guess the only explanation I can offer is that they are the balloons who are bound to target the next closest defensive structure. Notice that the balloons are also not deployed onto the mortar because then you would actually give them a chance to go ahead and move to the archer tower and stray around from the air defense. The haste spell is just dropped as a supplement to propel the loons straight to the air defense. I do recommend offsetting the haste spells slightly outside to the perimeter of the base because the loons are going to be hasted or have that spell effect even after going out of that haste spell for a while. Now before showing you the actual attack, let's have a look at the progression of attacks that Manas and Elaine have worked hard to develop to display to you guys at what all can go wrong with a dragon attack. Take note that Elaine is a stunning, flawless attacker and would never commit all these silly mistakes, but this is just an illustration for you that what should not be done. So what you just saw Elaine doing is she's approaching you from the front side of the airsweeper just to illustrate as to what harm it can do. Her loons, basically they can just drop that bomb like 2 seconds earlier than they actually did it had that airsweeper not been in place. The second mistake that you can most probably do is thinking that this dragon funneling just makes things complicated. Just to skip it altogether, dropping your dragons in the regular fashion, 10 dragons straight away, and Elaine does illustrate what happens if you do that. Notice how Elaine actually does not create the second side of the funnel, and what it does is 3 of her dragons are distracted by the external outside structures, and this remarkably reduces the number of dragons moving into the core of the base. The sheer reduction in firepower was what actually caused her this attack. Now let's have a look at the final attack or the real attack that got the 3-star. So this is something you need to plan out before the raid even starts. Altogether, to just sum up and to say it in a nutshell, you are going to zap Quake, the most inaccessible air defense. Ideally, that is going to be an air defense that is just close to the air sweeper, because you want to come in from behind the air sweeper. The second step is to create the funnel for your dragons. For this, shoot 1 dragon at each corner of whichever side you are approaching from. Use the bisector concept that has been illustrated in the troop guiding video. I would include a link to that in the description below, to make them path towards the central external structures, reinforcing both the groups at each step. Thirdly, plan your loon pathing and get them to head straight to the air defense. No other options. Do not provide your loons any other options but the air defenses. So basically that's going to be it. Zap Quake, the first air defense, all your dragons focused on the second air defense, and your loons to get the third air defense. Do not forget to raid your dragons while dealing with the CC, haste your loons and offset the haste spells close to the outskirts of the village. That is it for this episode. In case you are still in doubt, still perplexed, still confused, watch out for the part 2 of this guide that would display a few more attack replays and would help to further clarify your doubts. The problem is that we are used to seeing dragons being used in the traditional way, 10 evenly spread out dragons on any side of the village, and that is it. It is important that we get rid of this old tradition and adapt to the newer way of funneling, as it sends more dragons towards the core and increases your chances of success, especially at the late down or late gameplay. So this is the format I have decided for my attack guides. Part 1 would be focused more on strategizing, and the part 2 would be focused more on the actual attack replays. Hope you guys like this video, hope you guys like the content today. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe to this channel for future content. Until next time, this is your host, Shiv from the Shadow. Takes your leave. Bye bye for now.